I am a hole. I do not know why I was made, but I do not forget. My first memory was that of a crushing sound, like when the earth shifts and rock grinds against more rock, driven by a sense of violence. Then I became aware of the presence of light. It exposed me. Every rock and pebble could be seen. My walls slicked with mud and my floor pooling with water, the intrusion stopped. I observed the passing of time as the light grew and shrunk. Crawlers of various kinds began to take residence inside me. I did not know what they were, but I do not forget. They move like petals rolling down my walls. And they do not only move downwards. Some sound like two smooth rocks being slowly rubbed together when they chitter. Others suspend themselves in midair using parts of themselves drawn out like thin strands. Those do not speak. I tried speaking to each of them in turn, but they did not answer. They showed no sign of hearing me, let alone understanding. "Oi! I guess we're neighbors now," I said. I directed this to a crawler drinking from the pool on my floor. It was long and covered with something like the texture of wet grass that stuck to the top of my opening. It gave no response. I called out to one who had spread itself across my width. "What are you doing there?" I asked. It continued its work, drawing out parts of itself thin and weaving what appeared to be a new floor across my middle. "It's like none of you even know I'm here," I lamented. Well, I didn't put you here," a voice interrupted. "No, you didn't. Someone else did. They were up there, not down here with us," I said. "It must be the humans. They're always digging holes. Besides, you're much larger than the holes other types of crawlers dig," the voice said. "Me? I don't know. I don't know what a hole is. And I've only been me for..." I realized I had no frame of reference. "Definitely not as long as me. I've been here for a very, very long time. I'm the Earth, by the way," said the Earth. I felt the warmth of its presence right outside my walls. Much like how the light exposed me, I felt exposed, but in a different way. Light allowed me to observe myself, but this presence was observing me, and I quite liked it. "Nice to meet you," is all I could muster. "You, my friend, are a hole, one of many that come and go all the time," the Earth continued. "Humans?" I asked. Yes, humans. They're the crawlers who move on two pillars. All kinds of crawlers dig holes. Humans are the worst, though," the Earth said. I observed the crawler drinking from the pool on my floor. It had 4 pillars. "I've only seen crawlers with 4 and 8, I said. Well, there are some that don't even have any, oddly enough. Humans, though, that's what they call themselves anyway. There's something else. All other crawlers dig holes to put their food in or as a place to rest. Humans do it all the time and often don't even use them," the Earth said. "They can speak too?" I asked. "Yes, it took me a long time to decipher what they say. The other walkers make sounds, and some even speak to each other, but not like humans. They speak regardless of whether anyone can hear or not. It's tiring, really," the Earth said. The Earth spoke more than I desired as well, but I was eager to learn and did not interrupt. "You said they dug holes for more reasons than the other crawlers?" I asked. "More reasons, no reasons, it makes no difference to them. Many crawlers bury their food and return for it later. Humans bury only seeds, as far as food goes, and they are very ritualistic about it. They only do it when the sun is in a specific place. They also dig to find water. They need it to live," said the Earth. "Live?" I asked. "It's something they say. It's the opposite of dead, which is when one of them stops moving. They bury other humans who are dead as well, like they do with seeds, only once they do, they rarely dig there again," the Earth said. "I hope they use me to find water. Being filled back in sounds awful," I said. "Not quite. Other holes just go silent when filled," said the Earth. "They are dead, then?" I asked. "The humans would call them dead, yes. Don't worry, though, little one. They don't express any discomfort. They just cease to be, the earth replied. I'd prefer to continue being, I said. Wouldn't we all? The sad thing is, given time, whether intentionally or not, all holes are filled. I've spoken with countless other holes, you know. They come and go like clouds. It doesn't matter to me, though. I have enough mountains to fill them all, the earth said. Light began to fill me once more, and the crawlers began to retreat to safety. Why don't you? I asked. I'm sorry, the earth responded. Why don't you fill them all? I pressed. Why would I? I didn't make them. Besides, the earth with holes is still the earth. It makes no difference to me whether I have holes or not. I'm still me, the earth said. The light was now at its brightest, and my walls began to warm. Exposed to the light and to the earth, I felt somehow more real. Like when you speak a thought, you take something that was real and make it more real. I found myself imagining what I could be if I weren't a hole. I did not know what I was for, but I wondered what it would be like to be one of those mountains the earth talked about. If I, a hole, was the thought, could I possibly speak myself into being a mountain? My thought was interrupted by the sounds of rhythmic pounding and the crushing of grass. Oh, it looks like they're coming back. This should be interesting, the earth said with anticipation. Well, it looks like they did enough yesterday that we need to climb down to the bottom and dig from there, a voice said. Have at it, John. I only have one pair of shoes. That mud would ruin them in an instant, and I haven't received my first payday yet, said another. I understand, but I'm old and you're young. You can dig. I'll move the dirt. I'll save my back and you'll get credit for the work. Maybe we can convince the foreman to pay you early so that you can replace your shoes. Besides, the kid will be moved here before sundown. We have to make the hole big enough that it can't climb out, said John. Fine, but I'll have you know, I hate that we're doing this. I'd much rather leave the child in the room and forget it even exists, said the younger man. You know how it goes, Theodore. We dig the hole, they put the kid in it, and the city is safe, John said. She already has a place, Theodore said. In a room, Theodore. A room anyone can walk in and out of. It's a matter of city security. We can't have savage countries from over the seas stealing our kid. Our protection would be gone. They would attack, said John. Security? Attack? I interrupted the Earth's translation. Security, I know. They bury all kinds of things to keep them away from other humans. I don't know what attack means, though, said the Earth. Theodore dropped to my floor and began using something to remove dirt. So they're digging me to keep their child, was it, safe? I asked. It would appear so. They don't want the countries from over the seas to take the kid. In turn, the kid keeps them safe, I suppose, said the Earth. I quite like the idea of being used to keep something safe, I said. I watched Theodore dig until the light began to dim. He stopped many times to remove water from his top with one of his pillars. When they both were satisfied with what they had done, Theodore crawled up a ladder that John had lowered. Earth, I think they're done, I called out. The Earth gave no reply. I did not feel the familiar warmth of its presence either. The humans pulled out their ladder and then laid something over the top of me. It blocked much of the light, and my walls grew cold. There was only myself to fill the silence. The silence felt heavy and cold. I wondered if silence knew it existed. Does it like to exist? I called out to it, but it did not answer. I realized that I wouldn't either if I were silence. You obviously can't speak to the silence. I felt something I had not felt before. I felt a hole within me, one I desperately wanted to fill. I craved the light so that I could at least view myself. I craved the crawlers so that I could at least observe them and be observed by them. I craved someone else to talk to so that we could at least fill each other's silence. I sat with this feeling for much longer than was comfortable. I felt an ache, like there was a thought of Theodore inside me, furiously chopping and shoveling and removing me instead of dirt and rock. Just when I began to find it unbearable, the covering at the top was moved. light as pale as when it's about to grow brighter, poured in, and something began to fall. It fell very slowly and down my middle, as opposed to very quickly and down my sides like a pebble would. It looked like a large piece of slate. I heard voices from various humans saying things like, "Gently now, we don't want to wake her," and "Did you put her medicine in her food?" and "Yes, as long as she eats her meals, she'll be fine." They lowered her until she was on my floor and promptly covered my top again. It was some time before the light grew bright enough to see her. The light through the cover could not cover my floor, but it was enough to let me see her. She lay still for a while, only making a sound like whistles of short breezes blowing back and forth. She began to stir, then rose, perching herself on 4 pillars. She moved back and forth on 4 pillars, finally crawling up my wall to stand on 2. She moved like something falling, then catching itself halfway to the floor. Then she stretched herself toward my top and made a horrible sound. If how I felt before she came was a sound, that was the sound. She did this over and over, and I eventually joined her. She made no signs that she could hear me, but I found warmth in the solidarity of the act. "What is that sound?" the earth said, startling me. "Oh, there you are. It's the child. They brought her while you were gone," I said. "I see. It makes a worse sound than when the wind gets angry and tries to push over my mountains. Do you see what I mean? No one is listening, and yet she still cries out. It's pitiful, really," the earth said. I felt like the earth had thrown a cover over the part of me that was an idea. The ache returned for a moment. She dug into something that came with her on the slate and consumed it. "She's eating. All crawlers do it. If they don't, they become dead," said the earth. I wondered if silence could eat our sounds. Maybe it begs us to speak because it eats our words, so it doesn't become dead? The child spent her time between meals howling, pacing my floor, and laying to rest on her slate. Before her 10th meal, she had stopped moving. She had heat that grew intense, and she groaned like the wind and heaved. When she heaved, she sounded like a large stone rolling down my walls. I felt her grow cooler until she matched the coolness of my walls. I craved her warmth again, even though I could not speak to each other. The ache appeared again. "I must warn you, I feel the urge to have a stretch soon. I'll try to be gentle so as not to topple you and crush the kid," said the earth. "I'm not sure it would matter. I think she's dead," I said. "Oh dear. Well, maybe they'll fill you then," said the earth. "Will I be dead then?" I asked. No, you'll become something else entirely. Holes with humans that are filled become graves. Over time, she'll become part of me, and then you'll become dead," the earth said. I did like the idea of continuing to be. "Well, move while the mantle is hot, I suppose. I can't hurt her now anyway. There couldn't be a better time," the earth said. "Please do. If I topple now, at least I'll become a grave. I will know what I'm for, and I will get to continue to be," I said. The earth did just that. It rumbled and groaned, gentle at first, but with growing intensity. Just as my walls began to shake loose their stones and soil, the humans arrived. They were louder than usual, and they spoke much more quickly. "What are they doing?" I asked the earth. "Panic is the word they use. They do it when they feel one of them is about to become dead, or when something they buried is about to be taken. Now just a moment, this part is difficult to talk through," replied the earth. They removed my covering and pulled out the child and her slate. The earth began to slow as the humans lowered the other slate. As the humans lowered another slate. One voice said, "Quick, before we're all destroyed." Another said, "I gave him enough to make sure he sleeps for a long time." "Not enough to kill him, I hope. He was picked because he is healthy. He will last longer in the hole than the last kid. Plus, If he were older, the theft would have also put him in prison anyway. At least here he'll be safe, said the first voice. He'll also be alone. Can you imagine? A child sentenced to a life of solitude because he took some bread, said the second voice. Listen, you know how it goes. We put a kid in the hole and the city is safe. It doesn't matter what kid it is. Might as well be one who did something to deserve it, right? The first voice said. They finished lowering him in and covered my top. The boy slept for a day, even through the earth's commotion. The earth had calmed when he eventually woke. His first meal arrived, and he screamed to the top until they replaced the cover. Things like, "Let me out, you brutes!" and "What about my family?" No one answered, but his cries drew the attention of the earth. This one is considerably more loud than the last, the earth said, sifting its words carefully. He moves much more than the last two. He even speaks, I said. What does he say? The earth said. He wants to be taken out of me and returned to his family. What does family mean? I asked. I believe it's a group of humans. They say that word mostly when they bury their dead, said the earth. That makes sense. The ones who lowered him in talked about alone. It's something you can be. I felt alone before the first child came, when I was covered and you were gone. I dislike it. I think I'd rather be filled and dead than alone, I said. Well done. You're learning. I do believe you're right. I can't feel alone because I have you and millions of other holes to talk to, not to mention the sea and air and grass, the earth said. I wish I had that security. I wish the child did too. I hate the feeling of knowing he feels alone. Not as much as when I feel it, but seeing him feel it makes me feel it with him. Though I don't know if alone likes existing. Does he eat our presence to stay alive? I said, interrupted. Who can tell? It's not like we can ask it. Besides, even if alone wanted to exist, should we stop being so that it can thrive? I, for one, want to continue to be. Alone can worry about alone. I have other things to do, said the earth. If questions eat satisfying realizations, my question still ached to be filled. We observed the child together for days. He yelled to those who brought his meals every time, and every time they gave no response. He paced and rested like the girl had, but not as often. He also hit my walls with his pillars repeatedly. I tried to speak to him, but he could not hear me. I ached to fill his silence, as much as he ached for it to be filled. He tried for a day to climb my walls like the other crawlers, but my walls were too soft and crumbled away. That's it. I can't climb out, but I can dig, he exclaimed. He picked a spot on my wall and began to claw away the dirt, working tirelessly, taking pause to rest and eat only periodically. He was able to fit in a hole he dug after a couple days. That was when I heard a new voice. Hoy! It called out. Aye, you must be a hole also, I replied. A hole? What's a hole? It asked. Well, I'm a hole. Weird things the crawlers make in the earth. That child who is digging you is a human. They're a type of crawler, I said. The boy found a loose spot where he was digging and was able to remove twice as much as he already had. I could only see him from one of my walls, and it was very dark at that. I felt the earth gather with us. Look at what we have here, a new part of the family. Welcome, the earth said. I'm a hole. Who are you? It asked. A hole? No, you're a tunnel. Tunnels are like holes, but they stretch in different directions and have very different uses. Never mind that, though. I came to tell you I simply must stretch. If I don't, my mantle will fall asleep, and none of us want that, the earth said. Before either of us could respond, the earth began to shift. The child cried out and dug more frantically. Don't worry, just hang on. The earth tries to be gentle with this, I said. I feel like I'm coming apart, said the tunnel. Just do your best. You might change, but you'll still be here. The kid, however, will not. He'll be dead, and you'll be a grave. He's trying to be with his family so he's not alone. We should try to protect him so he can be, I said. The tremors grew unbearable, even for me. Large portions of my wall fell to my floor. Once the earth is done, we can teach you so much. We can fill each other's silence. We can be like a family, I said. Will you please be silent? I'm trying to... I did my best to encourage the tunnel, but it only responded with whimpers. The tumult rose to a peak, and the boy screamed from within the tunnel. He tried to crawl out, but rocks and dirt poured out of the tunnel and trapped him beneath the pile. Only one of his pillars was uncovered, and it grew still and cold. "Tunnel?" I called out. I could only hear the rumble of the earth and the clatter of falling debris. When the earth had finished, we both attempted to call out to the tunnel. It did not respond. I ached to fill each other's silence once more. "I don't know what happened. A human who is dead in a filled hole makes a grave," said the earth. "Is it because he's not all the way buried?" "Just quake more and collapse me, then we can both be graves," I said. "Unfortunately, I can't. I'm tired. I can only move like that so often. Besides, I'm sure the next kid will dig a hole or tunnel as well. Then you'll have a new neighbor," said the earth. The cover over my top was thrown open. "What happened?" a voice yelled. "Looks like the little vagrant was trying to escape. That must be why the earthquake hit. He's been crushed in his own tunnel," said a second. "You, go fetch John and Theodore. You, arrange for the next kid. I'll get the boy, and we'll make the switch. The city will be safe again in no time," said a third. They removed the boy and replaced the cover. John and Theodore arrived fairly quickly. Theodore was lowered to the bottom and began covering my walls with something. "What is that?" I asked the earth. "The humans call it cement. They grind parts of me and mix it with water. Then they use it to build structures. Structures not even I can collapse," the earth said. "Can't you move faster, Theodore? The fate of the entire city is in our hands," said John. "Do you want me to stop? No? Then shut up. You know how I feel about this," said Theodore. "Then just walk away like the others. Maybe you can go to the savages across the sea since you seem to love dirty, treacherous people so much," said John. Theodore went silent, like someone threw a covering over his top. "They are not family," I said. "No, they definitely are not," said the earth. Theodore moved faster, covering more and more of my walls, spitting words I do not have thoughts for, but I felt at my core. "This is looking bleak," said the earth. "It does. I think I'd rather be filled and dead than be condemned to a purpose that made me ache. This purpose of protecting a child who aches like me simply to make sure it aches as well, I cannot bear it," I replied. "What? No, not that. I meant that when he's done, I won't be able to talk to you through the walls," said the earth. "What?" I cried. "Sometimes when the humans are looking for water, they will line the hole with cement. But when they do that to a hole they keep things in, they cover the floor. I won't be able to hear you through the cement," the earth said. "We won't be family, then?" I said. The earth did not respond. Theodore had reached my upper portion when a new voice called to the pair. "Will it be much longer?" it said. "Only a few more hours, I suspect," John said. "Good. The leaders picked a kid. It's a foreign one this time. At least it's not one of our own, right?" the voice replied. Theodore continued his work in silence. "Theodore here has a soft spot for those dirty animals." "Don't mind him," said John. "Is that so? Well, let me know when you're done so that we can save the city, I guess," the voice said. "To both of you, I will say this, and then we will never speak of it again. No matter what child is in this hole, No matter what child is in this hole, they did not choose to be put there. The only reason you're indifferent to this is because you were not chosen for it. Could I walk away? Maybe. I'd have to leave my family. But that's okay with you, I know, as long as you're not the one to be chosen to ruin your shoes or hurt your back. You're okay with anyone being chosen. If it were up to me, I'd put you in this hole, Theodore said. Just finish, spat John. The pair finished their work, and a new child was brought. It was as dark as my shadows, and spoke words that I still do not know. I do not know much, but I do not forget. There have been many children, more than I have words to number with. They all cry and scream. They all long for their family and to fill the silence in themselves and others. One even yelled to the top, "You can't do this. My grandfather built this hole." The response from my top is always the same. Silence. Like me, they are alone. Like me, they did not choose this. And like me, they cannot walk away. The humans do not need more holes. They need to fill the ones they already have. Not just the holes they make in the earth, the holes they make in their cities, and in turn, themselves. The holes they bury with silence. I wish I was a mountain. I wish that my words were stones. If I were a mountain, I would throw myself on them, speaking words that they can feel and covering all the holes they've dug once and for all. But I am not a mountain. I am a hole.